Hello again, Lila Rose from Lila Rose Inspirations is here, and this video is focusing on my 6-week post-op update, where I talk about my 4 weeks at home. So for 2 weeks, I'm out of state, healing, and then get on the plane, fly back home, and I was at home for 4 weeks before my 6-week post-op. And really, it's fairly uneventful as far as how I operate in life, really. Like, I did rest a lot. I had my husband and my mom and dad, and we had a nanny help during the day and taking our girls to school and pick them back up, bring them back home. So I had a lot of help. So luckily I didn't have to do a whole lot during this time. I mostly rested and got up every once in a while to get something or take a shower, normal stuff. So I think that those 4 weeks went really well. Now, my daughters had their 5th birthday on the 4-week mark around that time. So, luckily my husband was able to help plan a little birthday party for them. And I did help them because our tradition is to they make their own birthday cakes. So I did help them with the mixer, and that was a lot of work. That was actually quite difficult. I questioned whether I should have done it or not, but it was 5 pounds or less, so technically I could do it, but it was challenging to have to hold a mixer and have them help me do it. But it was nice. They had a great little birthday, and that was really the big event of that 4 weeks. The rest of the time I was just laying in bed. I didn't really watch a whole lot of TV. One reason is I don't really watch a lot of TV, but also because, I really couldn't laugh or cry, because you don't want to put pressure on that area while it's still healing. The muscle's not healed yet. It really heals at the 6-week mark. So it's still kind of a sensitive time that you want to be careful. So because you can't laugh or cry, that kind of eliminates a lot of shows. And you can only watch the Food Network for so long. So that is why, to a point, after the first 2 weeks, I was like, I don't need to watch TV right now. It's kind of, I did I listened to a lot of podcasts, educational stuff. I did do some things, but mostly on my phone. And it was hard because I couldn't do a lot of little things, and that was getting frustrating for that long, that I couldn't just make myself a sandwich very easily. I couldn't just pick something up. It was getting to me at that point, because it's a long time, 6 weeks, when you think about it. It's long and it's not. So if you can get through it, then that's great. But it was challenging with the little things. So, that was a little rough, but not too bad, not the worst. And I did keep up the regimen. I put on the tape and aquifer. Like 3 days a week I had the tape on, then the 4th day I took it off and put on aquifer and just kind of let it breathe a little bit. So I kept that regimen along with the showers and everything. So, and I had, this was the wrap I had. So that all stayed the same. Nothing really changed there. So most of the time though, I was just thinking about my life. Who am I now? What is my purpose? Why am I here? And that was quite maddening, really, because, they say it's a life-changing surgery, and it is. I think we can all wrap our minds around the obvious life changes, that you can start wearing clothes you love again. You don't have pain anymore because you're supported again in the front. You're back to your old self, and you're able to be the mom you want to be, and you want to do things that you used to do again. So all of that, yeah, I had my mind wrapped around that. This is going to change my life. I can't wait. What they don't tell you, people don't really talk about it, is that it's not just life-changing in the positive sense of getting yourself back. It's also life-changing in the sense that it really makes you reflect on your life. I had could say early midlife crisis. I think that a number of people do. That's what I learned, is that it's quite common. So it was good. It was good to have this self-reflective phase, and that's what I want to talk about a little bit. Now, to talk about it, I have to kind of um, reveal some of my personal reasons for having the surgery, because we all have our own stories. We all have our own reasons for wanting to have this surgery too. Why we want to get back to who we once were and not living the life of someone with diastasis anymore. And we all have the deeper reasons why we want to have diastasis surgeries, I think. And so this is just mine. My story is that when I was 22, it brought me back to being 22, surprisingly. Surprisingly or not, I guess, when I think about it. But I used to look like this. To some, they would say, yes, my body looked great. I was happy with how I looked. You can judge what I'm wearing or what I'm not wearing in these photos, but that's not the point. To me, I am very proud of these photos, not because of how my body looks as much as because of what they symbolize for me. Before these photos, before I was 22, I had battled major depression, and I was even suicidal during this time. And so for me, these photos symbolize my self-conquering depression. And I run around naked to celebrate such a thing. So that's why I'm so proud of these photos and why it means a lot to me. And looking at these photos symbolizes for me my self-conquering that time in my life and bettering myself and becoming a successful person again who is passionate about themselves and about their life. And so that's why it was important for me to kind of get back to this person that I was, because before these photos, I had actually lost 40 pounds because I gained that while I was depressed. And I lost it all on my own. I decided to take a nutrition class at this time when I said, enough is enough. I want to get my life back and I'm tired of feeling this way. And so I took a nutrition class, used what I learned there to alter my diet to help me lose the weight. And I used an 80s workout video to help me lose the weight. So that is how I lost 40 pounds, is through my own determination to get myself back on track and leave the past behind me. So yeah, I did it all on my own and I was so proud of myself. And these photos are just the result of that accomplishment for me. And I had passion for myself again, for my life again. And that's where I wanted to get back to with this surgery, was back to that person who was passionate about herself, passionate about life, felt good in her own skin. And unfortunately, my post-pregnancy body with the diastasis and the skin and just the big bulge in my stomach, it brought me back to the person I was when I was depressed. And it reflected into my life at that time. I wasn't able to be the mom that I wanted to be during that time because it was getting to me. Because I lost weight on my own back when I was 22, that's probably why I really wanted to be able to get to my pre-pregnancy body by myself, is because I did it before by myself and I really didn't want to need help. But I did need help. And I had to really come to terms with that fact. And I'm glad that I did. And luckily, I was given my amazing daughters who I don't know what I did in life to deserve them. They are just some of the most amazing people I've ever met. And they are so loving, so supportive. They adore me. And I don't know. I sometimes am like, why do you adore me so much? But they do. And they're just the sweetest in the whole world. And so they really inspired me to make these changes, to have this surgery, because they just really were so uplifting for me. Just the things that they say, and I'm going to try not to cry, but they would just love, they would say, "Oh, I love your hair," when I'd actually do my hair, and they just adored it so much. And they would want me to wear certain clothes. They'd pick clothes out for me. They'd want to wear dresses. They're such girly girls. I would wear yoga pants and t-shirts all the time. Their whole life, that's what I'm wearing. But they love dresses and they love dressing up. And so they wanted me to do that too. And so I'd also, at times, every once in a while, I'd wear makeup. And my one daughter, she came in during one of the rare times where I'm doing my makeup. And she just looked at me, and I had just done, my mascara, eyeshadow, eyeliner, all of that. And she said, "Wow, you worked on your eyes and made them even more beautiful." And that just melted my heart. I was like, "Oh, put you in my pocket and carry you around with me." They just are so uplifting for me. And again, I don't know what I did to deserve them in life, because they just love and adore me, and no one has loved me and adored me that much ever. And so even they found in the guest bedroom my heel stash, because I did used to love to dress up and wear heels and get excited about it, and I wasn't anymore, since I couldn't wear anything that did not make me look pregnant anymore. But they found my heels, and they'd say, "We have a surprise for you," and they'd bring them up for me to wear. And they wanted to get their own heels, so we got our heels to all wear together. And just all of those little things just inspired me to make the change, have the surgery, because I was really resistant to having it. I'm so thankful I did, because they deserve it too. It's not just about me. I can't be that shining example for them, for loving themselves, even if I don't do what I need to do to love myself. And if I want them to love themselves, then they need to see me loving myself too. So, and that was one of the hardest things for me to do, battling depression and everything, was loving myself. So they really were the biggest inspiration for me to finally make the leap to find a surgeon and take care of my diastasis, because I really needed to get back to that 22-year-old self and find my passion for myself and my life again. That's the bigger story as to why it was important for me to have the surgery, and even for me to have it done the best that it could be done, really. Why I seeked out a specialist, aside from me being so severe. I also really wanted to bring it back as close to that 22-year-old self as I could. And really, you can't get completely back to how you used to look. It's just impossible. But I do feel like I am as close to that 22-year-old self as I can possibly be. And so luckily, it did bring me back to my 22-year-old self, but it also brought up a lot of emotions of, wow, where am I in life? Like, who am I, as I said before? And so through all these months past the 6-week post-op, my journey has been now rediscovering my passion for myself and for my life again. And during that 4-week time, that's when I was contemplating it all. That's when I was thinking about everything, like, well, who am I? What's my purpose? Why am I here? What do I stand for? What life am I building around myself? So those were kind of torturous thoughts to go through at that time, but it was very, very important, because I'm brought back to that person, but I can't be 22 anymore. I mean, I'd hope that after 15 years, I'd become a little wiser, and I'm 37, I can't be 22. So then it's like, well, now I can't be that person exactly. So who am I? Because I'm not the diastasis person anymore either. So this was the huge emotional struggle, turmoil that I was going through during those 4 weeks at home, that I was not at all prepared for. And that is why I'm telling you about it, is because I'm sure that not everyone goes through this early midlife crisis like I did, but I'm going to guess that a number of people do. And I hope that it can be helpful knowing that that it could bring up a lot and just to be prepared for it. So that is the biggest struggle that I went through during that time. The emotional struggle superseded the physical because I had the physical down and I was getting better and better each week. But the emotional just was taking over. So I'm much better now, luckily. I worked through so much, but I am still working through it. And thankfully, my surgeon has a support person that you can call. And that really helped get me through. I mean, I feel like I bothered her too much and dumped too much on her, but she really, really helped carry me through this very difficult time of my life. And I'm very, very grateful for that. And I'm so much better now and so much more solid ground. But yeah, I think it's very important to talk about that part because, like I said before, I don't think very many people do. And so you're just not prepared. You just think life-changing surgery. Oh yes, and more. So yes, that is everything up to my 6-week appointment. And I flew back to see my surgeon after 4 weeks of healing. And the doctor saw me, very happy with the results. I was still swollen, you know, because it can take up to a year for the swelling to go down, but looked great. He took the wrap off again, and this time he said, don't put it back on. That's it. You know, throw it away. You're done with it. You don't need it anymore, which was kind of scary because it kind of was my support system for a while, and it can be a little nervous about being able to freely move and say that you can really do anything. You know, just be your own guide as to when you need to pull back during, you know, exercise or anything. So that was a little scary, but I, you know, did put it away. I mean, I obviously didn't throw it away. That's why I'm showing it to you, but I didn't put it on anymore. And the first couple days were a little rough, but Halloween happened soon after I got back from my 6-week post-op. And I was walking around the neighborhood with my daughters, trick-or-treating, without my wrap, walking around the block, because I could do that now, because you could start exercising and everything at that point. And really, I felt fine. I was surprised at how good I felt doing that. So he was right. And so really, that's everything for the 6-week update. So thank you very much for joining me. And next video, I'm going to jump all the way to 6 months. And the reason I'm going to go that long is because I think I can cover a lot, you know, during that time. There's not as much to talk about. So thank you very much. I hope you found this helpful, and I hope you join me again for my next video. Thank you. Bye.